Um, for starters, Commissioner, may I ask what brought you to the Commission on Human Rights, and what do you consider as your most significant achievement thus far?
I've learned of the vacancy of all of the positions at the Commission on Human Rights way back in 2021. And I applied for the position. And luckily, I was appointed as one of the commissioners. And if there is one thing that I am proud that I was able to share or give to the Commission on Human Rights is I was the proponent of how to address the case backlogs of the Commission on Human Rights. I requested our chairperson if we could conduct an inventory of cases. And we found that there are cases as old as 1989, 1990 dockets which are still pending. And I think it was around 17,000 cases. And we were able to reduce it by, I think we were able to dispose around 9,000 out of that 17, Your Honors. So I consider that as an achievement, considering that we are just on our third year at the Commission on Human Rights.
Records show that you were with the Ombudsman for a significant number of years.
Yes, Your Honor.
And has served, how many ombudsmen have you served?
When I joined the Office of the Ombudsman in 1997, the Ombudsman then was Ombudsman Desierto. Then he was succeeded by Ombudsman Marcelo.
Marcelo.
Then Ombudsman Gutierrez, and Ombudsman Carpio Morales, and then Ombudsman Martires, Your Honors.
Okay, 5, no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so what would you have done differently if you were the Ombudsman during all these years? During those years?
Maybe I will not change policies which has big impacts with. For example, when during the time of Ombudsman Gutierrez, she created task forces. One of those are task force on addressing human trafficking, but the focus of the investigation is, of course, government officials involved in trafficking. Then we have another task force, we call it Task Force Marshall then, wherein we do implement warrants, or we look for accused of being who are already convicted, but they are not yet in jail. It was an effective approach. It has a big impact on the function of the office. But then, when Ombudsman Morales came to the office, she decided to revoke, to suspend these task forces. Also, another one is there was then a Bureau of Resident Ombudsman, and they are stationed in major government offices, but then that was also suspended. Maybe those are, if ever I'll get appointed, I will not. I will look into these policies, and if they are really working, there is really no need to change those policies, Your Honor.
In 2021, Commissioner Ben Press, Ombudsman Martires proposed criminal penalties, including imprisonment or fines for anyone publicly commenting on officials' salins, And critics included journalists, lawyers, and legislators. And they decried the move as unconstitutional and a threat to press freedom and public accountability. Can you comment on that?
The right of the public to look into statement of assets and liabilities of public official is provided under Republic Act 6713. It's stated there that it shall be open for inspection, and they can even take pictures of it. And the only restriction is that it should not be used for unlawful acts or for commerce. But there were no other additional safeguards so that access to this statement of assets and liabilities will not be abused by anyone. Now, this law, 6713, I think was passed in 1989, and technology during that time is not yet that advanced compared to our technology now. So maybe it was then the policy of Ombudsman Martires of maybe to balance the right to information vis-a-vis the right of privacy of public officials. Maybe that was his. That was the reason for coming up with that kind of policy, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. That was my final question, and I wish you good luck, Commissioner Ben Present. Thank you, Attorney Cuevas.
Thank you, Your Honor.